Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the Flight Ready podcast. We're just saying how we're now ahead of schedule on our one month, one episode release schedule. But here you go, you're getting a bonus one. As ever, joined by myself, MasterBen10 and LoudGuns.
Hello.
Wonderful. And today we're going to be not reminiscing, but we're going to be just taking a break, having a stop for a minute, and going, wasn't a very good ship panel this year at CitizenCon. So,
No
like
offense,
any
John
good
Crew.
people, yeah, like they were good, but we wanted more. So, what do you do if you have two people with webcams and a channel? You do your own ship panel. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be have a look through what we think's coming at IAE, what we would like to see over the future, and just to caveat all of this at the very, very beginning. Both of us don't look at spoilers. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be basically told what's been said on Pipeline or something, you're in the right place. We're not just going to be going off what's been leaked somewhere. So this is just our thoughts, what's been said in sort of roadmap points, roadmap roundups, and everything like that, but nothing unofficially released.
And if you are one of the people who really likes to watch the pipeline leaks and check those, just my one tiny request, just bear in mind that not everybody does in the comments. So if you've got the next 12 months of exact ship release for Star Citizen, because you managed to steal it off John Crew's desk, then please just don't bother us with it. We're good.
Yeah.
We like to be excited. So,
Yeah. The release schedule of this game is it's meant to be enjoyed at a slow pace. So there's no point telling us everything now. And in the next 12 months is, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. I remember when I heard about Beatrice being released, so spoilers, Beatrice has been released about a week before it actually happened. And I didn't believe it just enough that the excitement was still there when it came out. But there is definitely a level of like, oh yeah, I knew that was coming because someone told me in a Discord call. I didn't get to watch like the cool, trailer and be amazed by it. It's like, yeah, I knew that was
yeah.
coming. Fair
But
enough. Some people like that.
there's a certain point, isn't there? There's a point at which you cannot avoid some spoilers
Yeah.
because I'm sure like everybody, I go on YouTube and I have a Star Citizen category for YouTube and I check that regularly. And there's a certain point at which point the thumbnails of like 6 videos are a certain ship, and there's no way you can
Yeah.
avoid that. You almost, if you don't want any spoilers, you almost have to just stay off YouTube for like the 2 weeks building up to IAE. So, because for example, I think the very first ship that we're going to talk about, I'm not 100% sure that CIG have said it's definitely coming, but it's definitely coming, right?
It's definitely if it's not, I would love. Oh god, I would love if they say, well, only the outside shell's done. I don't think we've ever shown you inside, so it
We
could be
never
nothing.
actually
Could be
promised
nothing.
this. Here's another shiv.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, it's the brand new merchantman. Like it looks like it's really close to coming out, but actually, no, it's not. Just forget about it. What is the ship we're referring to here?
I believe we are referring to the RSI Perseus.
Oh,
Oh, did you have Banu Merchantman down?
I thought it was Aurora rework. Oh, this is
Aurora
really
rework. Aurora
Aurora
rework
rework.
is something I am all
Save that
there
after
for.
a few drinks.
Yeah. No, the RSI Perseus, the gunboat to end all gunboats, is slated to be coming for IAE. It's one which I was a little bit. I would have expected to see something on it at CitCon. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think we sort of finished that ship panel, and there was definitely sitting in the cinema. I was like, Did we miss something? Like
did we
in the
just
moment,
collectively black out?
yeah, it's like there must have been something because we've been sold 3 new ships. But what about the big sales pitch you're going to give us in a month? Right?
Yeah.
Give us like the Polaris video. Show us a little tour of the place. The only thing I thought, the reason why they may not do. No, we were really putting some copium in here already.
Mhm.
The reason I thought they may not do the identical video to last year with the Polaris is because we may be getting a new like expo hall somewhere else. So I was like, oh well, maybe there's a reason they don't want to show us the location. That's founded on nothing, but that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
just hopium,
So
just pure
yeah,
hopium. But
that's all it is.
I think the Perseus is a shoo-in, isn't it? It's been teased enough, and I think even the latest
Yeah.
there was a bit of debate, wasn't there, about whether the teaser picture that they put up was actually the Perseus, because it didn't have like the
Yes.
captain's chair. But I think it's been confirmed that that was the Perseus bridge. It's just that it's not going to have a captain's chair, which
Huh.
actually I think is a good thing. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Well, it's really like a 5-person ship, right? In total,
Sure.
you know,
At best.
you've got like you've got 2 turret gunners on the massive cannons. You're gonna have a pilot, co-pilot. You would logically have on a ship of that size, considering much smaller ones have co-pilot chairs, and
Yeah.
then you'll have an engineer. So I think like 5 is like absolute full crew. And
Yeah.
sort of like, if you've got 5 people on a ship, do you really need a captain's chair that does nothing?
Yeah.
Just like to sit and supervise those people doing their jobs. Like,
It just
sort
can't
of,
be trusted.
I do think a captain's chair on that ship would kind of been wasted space, and it's better
Yeah.
to just have it as like the pilot and the co-pilot, and just go from there with it. However, I am really excited for that ship.
Mm.
I I
Yeah.
am I am not somebody who puts combat like front and center of what he does, but that's my dream combat ship. That's my number one, like sort of one that I've been watching from the concept phase, thinking that's what I want to do. It's it's weird as somebody who does, yeah, because I do have an interest because I won one, and I do really enjoy it.
That was smooth.
Like, I got to qualify. It's like I did not spend that much money on one. I went on a holiday instead. My wife would kill me. I'm not gonna lie on that.
Mm.
But but the in terms of like, 'cause we've done some fleet battles and things, and they've been really fun. But running a ship like a Perseus would be what I would love to do in those
Yeah.
sorts of fights, those sorts of fleet battles. I can't wait to see like 4 or 5 of them gang up on an Idris. That's gonna be a happy day.
Yeah, that's sort of the, if because like the immediate counter to that is, well, an interest needs one person and then you get the railgun. So I think if we take out the current position of that thing just being the best solo ship in the game, yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Perseus is super super exciting. Like, just, I think the design is one of my favorites. So I've always been a huge, maybe hate's quite strong, but I strongly dislike front-mounted bridges, because
Mhm.
in a game you don't really get a feeling for what you're actually flying. You don't get this idea of weight or anything like that.
Yeah.
So being able to see over the front of a ship really helps sell the immersion.
Mhm.
So yeah, the Perseus bridge I think is probably one of the best. I'd still say the Idris Bridge is the best, just because it's so centrally mounted and you have the glass pointing down. Javelin's quite good as well, but it's just sort of off to the right. But yeah, Percy's Bridge is sick. I cannot wait for that. Um, I'm in like two minds with the turrets, right? Because big size 8 turrets, in my head, I'm immediately thinking sort of the Star Wars vibes of, it turns really slowly, but when it gets there, it's going to delete you. And then I'm in the vibe of, actually, it's a game, this is going to need to be functional and not like what the Redeemer turned into before its third
Mhm.
rework, where they just became too slow on size 5 guns. Obviously, these are going to be size 8 ballistics. But yeah, they're going to need to turn at a decent level. And I feel like that will be one of the best sort of ways they'll balance in the future. Like day
Mhm.
one, I think the turrets will turn too quickly. The ammo pools will maybe not be too big, because I think that could be a big detractor, but they'll just be doing too much damage. And then over time, the turrets will slow
Yeah.
down, would be
But also,
my big guess.
sort of like, I guess they have to be a bit slow, right? Because they can't be
Yeah.
tracking fighters. Because
No, no, no.
you've got the logical sort of like 2 sides to the coin, right? In terms of the Hammerhead and the Perseus.
Yeah.
Like, they're of a roughly similar size, and it's the anti-capital gunboat in the Perseus, and it's the anti-fighter gunboat in terms of the Hammerhead. And so you just can't have a situation where the Perseus's turrets are just zip 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 tracking
Yeah,
fighters.
yeah.
Like, oh, did you bring your size 4 anti-fighter guns? I brought my size 8 anti-fighter
Silly, silly,
guns.
silly.
Silly, silly. Perseus's new hammerhead. Better at
Yeah,
its
yeah.
job and doesn't expect you to have 6 people to mount turrets. Including the poor guy who has to face backwards the whole trip. That's
Oh god, I know, I know. Backwards and upside down. And obviously, upside down's a relative term, but for a pilot, you're still angling as if you usually want to get your top turrets on, because then you get 5 turrets on site instead of. I suppose you get 5 underneath, but it's a much harder angle because you're sort of crabbing at such a crazy degree. So yeah, back turret, just
the
don't
only
bother,
the
don't
only
bother.
good thing the hammerhead rear turret gave us was I don't know if you've seen it, but the Hybrid 5 audios the tail gunner video.
No,
Highly recommend go watch that. Like he is CIG should have snapped him up to do audio design in the game because he does amazing
okay.
like overlays of Star Citizen with better audio basically. And he's got this fantastic video, and I'll drop it in the video description down below because it's definitely something everyone should check out if they haven't seen it.
Hmm.
But that was the one thing that the Hammerhead rear turret gave us, in my opinion. That video, and then that was it.
A
Just
community-made video with audio not from Star
with audio
Citizen.
not
This
from
is
the
how
game.
far you
Yeah.
have to go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and they're always quite fun animations when you go upside down. This idea that your pilot just doesn't even care the fact that the blood is rushing to their head for what could be a 3 hour seat in in 3 hour time in the seat. But apart from that, yeah, you'll be fine. Now, I do have a concern with the Perseus, and I
Mhm.
really hope they will. I hope it just doesn't come true, and that's in regards to these are ballistic rounds. So I don't want to be running out of ammunition in a fight.
So
Now, is this the perfect time to have some form of ammunition reloading, or are they just going to have effectively infinite ammunition capacity?
okay, so if I were to take off my baseball cap and put my tinfoil hat on and come up with my conspiracy theories about why we maybe didn't see the Perseus at CitizenCon, I have got my fingers crossed that it's just that they did not have that part of it ready yet.
Yeah,
Because the Perseus can't, like, its entire thing is that it's bespoke ballistic guns. And those ballistic
yes,
guns
yeah,
can't break the rules of ballistic guns, right? They've got to have capped ammo.
yeah,
So, but you've got the potential because it's a ship of its size, because it's got a proper cargo hold, all of that good stuff. You've got the potential there to come up with a solution for reloading ships
mm,
and then retrofit it onto other stuff like the Idris. I don't know what sort of size you go down to though with that sort of ability to internally reload.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, do connies get it? And if so, is it going to become another like reclaimer situation where it's just like, we designed this ship before we designed the systems, and now we have
yeah.
bodged the systems into the ship, and we hope it's going to be all right, like, that sort
Yeah,
of thing. But I hope that at least because they had designed the Perseus from the ground up, I really hope they have just stopped and gone. Well, the Idris has like so much space on board that it's feasible that you could put like whatever. Like I think we assume that it's probably going to be like a reverse of the Reclaimer's box printer, right? Some sort of
yeah.
crafting
I
type
think it's exactly
station,
that.
but you put a box into it rather than take a box out of it. And the Idris has so much space that like there's plenty of places that could go.
Yeah,
I really hope that with something like the Perseus, they go, we acknowledge that we need this system for this ship to make sense. We have planned accordingly, and we are building the ship with the system.
yeah,
So that it doesn't have to be a like 6 months, 12 months down the line. Oh, we've come up with the system, and now your Perseus is bodged. Like,
mm.
and it will stay bodged for however many years. Like,
Oh, because they won't come back to it. No, 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 they won't come back to
you
it.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and one jump cut later, we're back in action after we totally didn't take about 10 minutes to work out why on earth my Discord notifications were coming through. So very, very apologetic if anybody got the wonderful spooky noises coming through on the recording. I think, unfortunately, Discord likes to drop in things which you didn't ask for and just drop them on you without making it incredibly clear about how to turn them off. So, but we'll know the trick for next time. And by that point, the Halloween noise pack, which seems to have been getting around even my turn off notifications, will be gone anyway. So where were we? We were thinking about
The
ammunition
purchase is going to
reloading.
be pay to win at the start and then nerfed after 30 days. That's the one.
I think as well. This is a worthy thing to drop in, sort of about within the first 15 minutes of any video about ships, and that is that. Well, number one, you don't need to buy any ships. All ships can be bought in the game, or will be able to be bought or earned in the game some way. But definitely, because I know that warning is going to fall on deaf ears. Like I 100% know that. I know and appreciate that we have the game that we love, and CIG have the money because people like us love ships. Don't chase power with money.
100%.
Would be my big thing, because nearly no ship has ever entered the game well balanced, and you can be suspicious about it, or you can just say like it's hard to do. Mostly ships enter the game OP.
Funny that one.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And then typically a patch later after the sales ended and the refund periods ended, they get nerfed again.
If a ship enters the game underpowered, it's immediately hotfixed. And that hotfix knee-jerk reaction makes it even more overpowered than it would have been in the beginning.
Yeah.
So when the Perseus comes out, the probabilities suggest, if I were a betting man, that it will be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Don't then go like, if your rationale behind your purchase of a Perseus is, oh my god, the Perseus is so OP, I'm gonna buy me some of that power.
I need 2 at least.
Stop and think is all I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Because otherwise you will be in the Reddit thread for the 4.4 patch or whenever, going like, why is my Perseus shit?
Yeah. This is not what you sold me. This is unfair. It's like, but what they sold you knew was brutally broken and should not have entered the game in that state. Don't be upset when that thing gets taken away from you.
Yeah. I remember watching Avenger 1's video of him popping light fighters with an Ares Ion to the tune of Mr. Brightside. It was just a solid, like, the entire song of Mr. Brightside. And yeah. Some Electric Light Orchestra on the go. Mr. Blue Sky, sorry, not Mr. Brightside, wrong band.
Yeah.
But the entire song, and it was just light fighter death after light fighter death after light fighter death. And I was just like, I watched it, I laughed, but I was also like, well, guess which ship's heading for a nerf?
Yeah. It's not shocking. That thing could 13 shot a hammerhead and it had 16 shots in its capacitor. So ERTs you could do those in about 20 seconds, and you could,
But then we did have, like, there was people at the time I remember talking to who were basically like, well, I feel like I've got to get one of these because it's the best earning potential.
Yeah.
It's the only, it's the way to, like, just go from one ERT to the next to the next to the next, racking up credits.
Yeah.
So I'm getting this ship because it's going to be my, like, grind money ship. And then 1 or 2 patches later, it wasn't.
Yeah, it just gets.
So yeah. So that would be that's our, like, disclaimer before we get too much into the hopium that is Star Citizen JPEGs. So
yeah, definitely. And I suppose also there's the logistics side of. It's all fun. It's all well and good saying, "Oh, great, I've got this ship." There goes the coin. I've got this ship, but
We were
But
debating
I,
before the podcast started about how long it would take Ben to drop the coin that he was fiddling with. So
yeah, and now it's gone. I just heard the clank of it falling off a table. It's like, oh well, bollocks, there goes that. It's a great idea. So when the F8 comes out and it's OP, when the ARM comes out and it's OP, when the F7A comes out and they're OP, they're fine because you need one person to get in it, and then you can dominate most situations on an average skill level. When a Polaris comes out or Perseus comes out and they're overpowered, I'm not saying the Polaris is overpowered, by the way. Um, you need friends, and I don't mean that in a rude way, but like it's not as easy as it always sounds to find 3, 4 people who sometimes don't want to sit in a turret or don't want to sit here managing like a remote turret because otherwise missiles will shoot us down or whatever. So yeah, really, really stop and think. I think a lot of people will be burnt massively when the address changes do come. Right now, God, it's in its heyday, but there will come a day where one person could move it from point A to point B, I'm sure, but couldn't have the same functionality they're having right now. So, yeah, yeah, buy because you think it's cool. Always rule of cool,
yeah,
and
yeah. And if you want to give money
yeah,
to, because I do see that comment quite regularly. I just buy ships because I want to give CIG money to make the game. Good
great,
for you.
do it.
Cool reason. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
You're all adults. You've got your not going to tell you how to spend your money, that sort of thing. But it's
mm,
just it's worth sounding a few words of caution because I always know there's always new people coming into the game,
yeah,
and so some of us sit here and go like, yeah, it's OP, but it won't be forever. But for somebody, it's going to be their first big ship sale, and they
yeah,
might not realize that that precedent has
yeah,
been
yeah.
set. So, yeah, it's definitely worth saying. The but yeah, so that's one. Anything else you think is likely at IAE?
I had one in my mind, and the closer sort of as we've gone along, I think yeah, it sort of worked out. It may not be coming, but it's the Hull B,
Mhm.
and I was really convinced the Hull B was coming. I saw it was in White Box a while ago, so I sort of had a feeling that may be fair along the lines. The assets should be mostly there from the Hull A and the Hull C, both of which are
Yeah.
really beautiful models and very very well designed ships. So yeah, I would like to see that. I think maybe it may be a little bit too early, but then again, Invictus launch week feels a little bit too late in the year. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a good chance we could see it, or CIG to introduce a new sale, which I think we're already seeing the whole January in case you missed it sales and things like that.
Mhm.
But that's going to be mine. Whole B, a
I
solid,
would
a shy,
absolutely love you to be right because
yeah,
I am a massive fan of the whole A and the whole C,
it's
so I
so
can't
good.
see why the in between ship would be any different. And
Mm,
actually, I think from a purist cargo hauling perspective, I reckon the whole B is going to be an absolute sleeper hit because
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's all that convenience that you get from external cargo with
yeah,
the ability to go down to planets and with the actual sort of like cargo hauling loops coming in and things. It's yeah, I would say that is going to be sort of a real sort of solid pick for a lot of cargo hauling enthusiasts, myself included.
yeah,
It's a really
yeah.
decent amount of cargo, isn't it? How much cargo's on a Holby?
So I've written down 384 was the original
Yeah,
concept. So things may have changed, but I think 384 was what it was sold for. So
and it's
that'll be
also
interesting to
that
see.
that's a window of cargo that we really need more of, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah,
Like, because you've got this big sort of gulf in cargo where you've got things like the Taurus is about 174, I think, top of my head. Like the
sure.
yeah, you just agree. Somebody
Oh
will
yeah, 100. Yeah,
just
that's all
say a
right.
number with confidence, and somebody will correct me down in the comments.
Mm,
That's the thing.
yeah, the
Um,
Pioneer's 1,000 if that helps.
you've got the um, shit. What's the Asgard? The Asgard is actually a pretty decent cargo hauler. It's about the same as the Taurus. I want to say something like 190. Um, yeah, just go with it. It's
It
fine.
will it will pop to me in a second. Yeah, yeah. Talk amongst yourselves.
But then, and you've got things like the Starlancer Maxes around that sort of level as well. But then there is a real gulf between that sort of 150 to 200 ish.
Yeah. 174 for the Taurus as
174 for
naturally.
the Taurus. I said, that's what I said, wasn't it? That's his game.
I think, yeah, sure, yeah.
And then, but then you all of a sudden jump, right? You jump to like 500 and something for the cat.
Yeah,
And a really poorly designed 500 and something.
really, really
So
bad.
really, you're talking 690 on the C2. Like,
Yeah, that's the next logical jump.
so it's seeing that middle ground fill out would be really good from a hauler's perspective.
And I think also the fact it's such an easy ship to get in and out of. The C2 is a great ship, but after you've gone through a Crusader door about the 20th time and it doesn't open because you're on a slightly laggy server, it does start to get a bit annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole B has a staircase which will appear, and then you walk up and down the staircase. It was the original concept. It may have turned into a ladder. But I don't think it will have actually, given it's a trading ship. I think they'll keep that vibe of like you're a trucker, it's not a ladder.
Yeah, you
Not a
don't
ladder.
do ladders. Truckers don't do
No, no, no.
ladders, even though we've got regenerative bodies to keep us really fit.
Yeah, yeah. We're not going to be doing ladders here. So I have always had a soft spot for trading every now and again. I think the Hulle's actually I think the only trading ship I reviewed back in the day, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun to me. I was like, well, back then you couldn't track to being boxed on. It was all it's automatic appeared, but yeah, it was just such a easy thing to deal with, and like you could do box missions on it, and so it was sick. So
Yeah.
actually, no, sorry, this must have come out with the cargo grid. This must have been like the beginning of the cargo
Mm.
grid because obviously you could snap your cargo boxes to it for box missions.
I think it was at the beginning. So it was basically that you could like snap and detach
Mm.
stuff from it, but you didn't have to because all trading was still sort of magically appears on your ship.
Yeah, yeah, trading was still
There
magic.
wasn't
Yeah,
the freight elevators, right, when the Hull
yeah, no,
first
it
came
wasn't.
in. Yeah. But I like yeah, you do start to see with that added element to the game the advantages of external cargo. Like the
Massively.
Hull is it's something I recommend to like new players. Just rent a Hull for like 50k and go and do 6-7 stacked sort of cargo missions. You'll have
Yeah,
made 300k and paid for the rental. So in terms of good ways to just get your first like million credits in game, is you can't go wrong with it. And the other one which
yeah,
fits that mold as well as the Argo Raft, like
yeah,
post its rework, it's really sort of one of the most optimal cargo ships out there at the moment. But it will be
yeah,
interesting to see, the flip side to that. Like we've had a bit of a downtick in piracy in game recently. I feels like there's not so much piracy on the go.
yeah. Apart from like your Hathor sites, I think it's
Mhm.
definitely you get a lot less just random people interdicting you and whatnot.
Yeah, there's more sort of concentrated PvP around
Mm.
certain zones, but there doesn't seem to be as much sort of pirate activity.
Yeah,
And I think you do probably have to keep that in mind, right? Because that's the flip side to these external cargo ships. I suppose it's maybe because cargo hauling through the contracts is very profitable and relatively risk free from a randomly losing the cargo perspective. So that's how people
yeah,
are making money. But then those contracted cargo boxes aren't worth anything to pirates. Whereas it used to be, you just invested 1,000,000 credits in some beryl, in a C2 full of beryl, and you were shifting it for like 300k profit. But if the pirates caught you, that was their 1,000,000 credits of beryl.
yeah,
So, so yeah, it's probably tied to that. But yeah, because it's the flip side. External cargo super convenient, but it's also very easy for pirates to remove it from your ship. Like they don't even have to kill you for it.
no, just go alongside QED. Bit of a
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, it'd be really. And I think
think
also if you look at the roadmap, we're seeing obviously already gone up there about having trading missions going between different systems. It's the logical time to release some quite fun hoarding ships. So yeah, I think the whole be if not I very very soon afterwards to some
yeah,
degree, and possibly The Ironclad.
Now this is because one of the things which I found most disappointing about this year's ship panel, once again, sorry, John Crew, was I feel
And
he just
Ben.
yeah, sorry, Bendy, but the thing is that like it was short, and
Pretty sure.
none of the ships jumped off the screen at me. I felt one of the things I felt almost cheated out of it was the silhouettes. I loved that little
Yeah.
silhouette segment. That was a really good way of sort of just showing this is what we expect, sort of a
Yeah.
year ahead. And obviously some of those would be unannounced. So it was kind of a really good way of doing spoilers without them being spoilers.
Yeah, it's just
And like,
fun theory crafting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was once again missing. I'm kind of holding out hope, right? This is my second
Okay.
opium of the day. That maybe the ship panel was kept short and downplayed because of the short overall length of CitCon.
Yeah.
And actually, because IAE is just round the corner, we'll almost definitely get like a very ship focused Star Citizen Live.
Yeah, yeah.
And will that basically be, the carried forward ship panel that should have been? Because they usually do like a round table discussion as well with like an all ships Q&A.
Yeah, what's
So
sort of been worked on, what's been parked, so basically things to get you a bit excited of what you could spend your money on thinking it'll be here in the near future,
yeah.
And they're great. They're a good way to get updates. And last year's one, and they do this every year, so they literally just run through all it's most concept ships, isn't it? Which have been mentioned at some
Mm.
point, will usually get mentioned and say, yeah, that's not going anywhere. And with last year's focus on base building, we learned the Pioneer went into active development effectively this time last year because they said it was a week after CitizenCon. Where's that got to? I don't expect we'll see that for another year, to be honest.
Mhm.
But it'd be good to know actually, did they pick it up? And then obviously they had this whole internal discussion of making this the year of making the game playable. And did they then just immediately put it down and that's it? Or actually, could we expect some base building ships coming up? Could we expect some concepts? Because I think, you know, concept sales are great. And I think IE is going to be a good time to say, if we think base building is coming the next 12 months to some degree, this is your first chance to pick up something. Like we had
Mhm.
the Argo cars last year, the little
Yeah,
cars you
the
could put the
CSV
building machines on the
things,
back.
yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. So, and do you know, it's funny not getting the silhouettes. And I suppose you can make the argument that just like the whole event, they mentioned, how they were sort of filming this 2-3 weeks in advance. It really wasn't meant to take up much dev time. But in the past, we've seen almost just a slide of a few ship silhouettes. Like it didn't need to be a fancy all
Yeah.
out video. And we know there's a lot of ships in active development. If you read the monthly updates, they've sort of said, oh, 5 ships are in active, 5 unannounced ships, 6 unannounced ships are in active development. And you go, that's really good. And I think it is good they're not telling us too much too soon because
Mhm.
sometimes CIG's got quite a habit of showing you a new fancy tool, which actually you won't find out about or experience for so many years. So it can be good from that point of view. But you could have thrown us some form of bone of like, this could be cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then if we look at last year's panel, there are a lot of ships in there which we actually haven't really seen.
Mhm.
So could it almost also be a political point of uh, if we keep giving you ammunition to show, look at these ships which we're working on, which it seems like we're saying these ships will be released in a year. Well, the second we release one this year, you're just going to go back a year and say, you know, Ironclad's not here. There's loads of ships on there that aren't here, which you
Yeah,
could
because
turn
the
around
the
like
iron the ironclad was in the silhouettes, wasn't it? That was
yeah, the
yeah,
Ironclad
yeah,
was in there.
yeah.
I think the Kraken was in there. Like it
Oh, was it?
was.
I
I
might need to
I
go back and watch this. Having said, I feel cheated that it didn't exist in this
yeah
year's one.
yeah.
Clearly, I didn't watch last year's one enough. But
Is the Kraken in it? I could be so wrong on that, but I know the Pine is definitely in because they
mhm.
show an F7 Ghost taking off from it. I'm going to retract my statement. The Kraken is not in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they ended on the Pioneer. I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
one before that was the Ironclad,
Yes.
and yeah, the Ironclad. I was kind of hoping for Ironclad this year as well, and I
I
suppose
really thought so.
there is just an outside chance that they have just successfully not let it leak.
Yeah.
It is possible. I do. Part of me does wonder, just from a pure marketing brain perspective, would they drop the Perseus and the Ironclad
I
in
know.
one
I know.
go?
Yeah.
I feel like they're a bit too good a potential sale, and then you would be forcing a lot of people into making a decision of like which one,
Yeah.
who, if they're been more spaced apart, might be like both.
Both, please.
Which
Because if one paycheck, that's not too bad. It's like, isn't this funny though? That like the logic is, oh, people could afford one £600 ship, but two £600 ships, that would be ludicrous. That'd be
that'd be
silly when
ludicrous
they could
without
buy
giving
an
them 6
iPhone.
months to save up between them.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, we're just like waiting for their next pay slip to come through. Like, oh, okay, cool. I'll now have the Ironclad. Yeah, wild. But the Ironclad looks great. Looks like a really cool ship. You know, the idea of having this whole convertible roof, take open the whole thing, tractor boxes in. That's probably as close as you're going to get to the whole series of accessibility of cargo without having to have, no protection on your cargo. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
can't
I
wait for
think as
that.
well, it's got the potential to be like the ultimate industrial base for
Yes, yeah.
like for operations which don't justify bringing a capital ship out with you.
What, a
Like,
solo cap ship's
because
not always the answer.
I'm sure as soon as it releases, I am 100% sure the first thing I'm doing is a mining op in the Kraken, a mining slash
Yeah, yeah,
salvage op. Like, that's going to be amazing. But you'll have like mining operations and salvage operations which aren't so big. And for
yeah,
those, like, if you're still big enough to have a hub ship, but not big enough for that hub ship to be something like a Kraken or an Idris, then I think the Ironclad is going to be your like absolutely perfect ship for those sorts of things, particularly with all of the different angles of accessibility. The base model has loads of tractor beams on it as well.
yeah, yeah. So three
So
tractor beams, is it?
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
got two, at least three. I think there's three, and then there's maybe an internal mounted one
right.
as
Okay.
well. So
Okay.
I did make a video about it. I should probably know this stuff, but for those videos, I write excessive scripts. So the
Yeah.
yeah, that's sort of where it excites me. But I like the sort of versatility of it. That it's like, yeah, it could be a ground vehicle transport, it could be a cargo hauler, it can be this sort of forward operation base type thing. And also, it's Drake, and Drake is just cool, in my opinion. Even if it
I
does look to
almost,
be held together by duct tape and dreams.
yeah, yeah. I was almost about to strongly disagree with you because of the Shiv, and then remember the Shiv is not Drake.
That's
And
not Drake.
thank God for that. That does not need to bring down the Drake reputation because I don't actually disagree. I think it's really fun. I think Drake is really fun. It's not my personal favorite aesthetic, but it's good to have in the game. Change it up a bit. There's
Yeah.
too many corporate angular military ships. Like, okay, we get it.
Yeah. What what
Guns
are
or
what are they shooting all day?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just each other. Like this is a
Yeah.
very weird militia we've got going on here. But
It's one of the
so
things I'm like saddest about. I'm saddest about the fact that the Caterpillar has just been left behind by time. Because the Caterpillar
yeah,
was one of my favourite ships to use for
yeah,
like cargo hauling. It was just so cool, but it's just it's so far off meta for cargo
yeah.
hauling now that it is just a ship you use because it looks cool in a screenshot.
And it just, I mean, some of the textures need loads of work. Like the if you take just a glance at it, I think it's still a beautiful ship, but it's the entrance elevator where the circles are basically hexagons. Like they're not even trying to be circles. It's just we could have put and obviously back then fine, but now come on, like I think that needs a bit of love. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a funny old one. So got a game for you.
hmm
We are about to get our third system. Another spoiler for anyone who hasn't been paying attention. There you
They,
go.
CIG announced it. It's not a spoiler.
Sorry,
That's my
sorry.
take.
Yeah, yeah. I live in a cave, so anything's a spoiler down here. Frankly, if
Great
it's not the
cave though.
light over
Great
there,
cave. Would
it's a good
recommend.
cave. Good cave. no enemies in here at all. Really lovely, really safe.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for a worm to jump scare you, mate.
Oh, this was the video. That'd be such a good idea. Yeah. Didn't do it though. There you go. So here's your game. You are in but okay, in this world, hypothetical world, the marketing team runs Cloud Imperium Games, right? We have a third someone's
Hypothetical.
run
Some
to you.
people might
Yeah,
argue down in the comments that
hypothetical.
this is not hypothetical. Yeah.
Listen, this is a make believe world. Someone's banging on the door and they're like, "Hey, we've managed to get a third system into the game before the end of the year. What ship should we release?" In this moment, you have the power to release any of the current concept ships into the game. Now, it can't just be a ship you love. It has to be a ship which will market well, given the fact we have 3 systems. What are you going to pick?
Kraken.
Oh, God, okay, right,
Simple.
fine.
Like, do you see the sales numbers after the Idris?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah.
To
Whole
the
limited, by the
moon.
way.
To the moon. Whole limited. There's another
Yeah.
one. Like, yeah.
24 waves and the
Yeah.
concierge waves, what they're called.
I think like one of the things that the Idris has. So I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I'm always like a glass half full guy with Star Citizen, but I
Good.
was a bit worried about cap ships until I saw the Idris. The Idris was like the proof in the pudding that that is it in game. It's a real cap ship. It's not like a, sorry to the Polaris. I still actually quite like the Polaris, but
Yeah.
it's not a small scale cap ship because the Polaris just kind of felt like a scaled up Carrack to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Bit of a bigger Carrack, but the Idris was like that next level.
Yeah.
And it was like, particularly with the amount of people you can get on it, all running around it at the same time, the amount of ships you can cram into that hangar, and then actually operate out of. Yeah. But one of the most useful things I've found with having the Idris is the ability to prep for like when we are going to do
Yeah.
stuff. So like, if we are going to go and run Hathor, I know that I can prep my Idris with like 7 fighters on board it, with Atlas Geos on board it, with like Pisces for dropping the ground people in, and I know that that can be there and ready. And then we have all the other benefits like people being able to spawn off it, all those things.
Yeah.
But there's so much that we can do ahead of time that can then be contained in that one ship, and that one ship can then be moved to where we need it.
Yeah.
And people can rendezvous on it before an event, that sort of thing. And so I just think the Kraken is like the next level of that. It's going to do that better than the Idris does it. Because the ability of, if we've seen how much we can cram into an Idris hangar, I cannot wait to see how much we can cram onto a Kraken.
Yeah. It's going to be insane.
And I think there is that element as well of like with more star systems coming online, distance gets bigger. Like it just becomes more and more of a factor. Like if you need light fighters, they are not going to be, oh, I'm starting in Stanton and I need to get to Nyx. You're going to want a carrier to move those. And particularly as the game evolves and you see things like more penalties for claiming ships with insurance, that sort of thing, I think that's going to be more and more necessary. So yeah, that would probably be my one. What's yours though? Or you got something in mind? Or your face is just saying, why did he have to say Kraken?
I was like, in my mind, I was like, we'll both pick medium ships, right? We'll pick like feasible ships. But do you know what? Fair play. I can't argue with that. This would be the year of cap ships. So I'm actually changing I had something in my mind when I asked the question. I'm now changing to what I have gone on about week after week after week at the moment. So every day for starters for me is combat to some degree, some level of combat, some level of vague stress. Deep down, I want to be an airline pilot. For
Oh,
Genesis
it's an interesting
Starliner,
one. Yeah.
yeah, right. So okay, I've already broken my own rules because it needs missions to make it work. But it's a plane. It's a plane. I've been talking about it now for like 3 weeks in every call I've been in. I keep mentioning the Genesis Starline, so I just got to go with it. I think this would be a really good time to introduce some actually very interesting, very fun missions of moving people from point A to point B, making beacons like we have medical beacons of, hey, look, I want to be in Nix. I don't want to fly for the next 20 minutes. Can someone just take me there? And then you meet in the ArcCorp, terminal and fly away, whatever. This would be such a good time to bring in a plane. I want to be EasyJet. That's my calling. Just the idea of having a way of moving around without having to actually move yourself. If it would be incredible if the game's log off system was sort of reliable enough that if you don't call ATC and you go from Stanton to Nix, like you're then waking up at Nix, and then you can go and play the game you want to play. Because I was moving to Stanton today just to do the new missions, and that took 20 minutes in an Idris, just trying to move it around. It's a fairly bulky ship. Well, what if I could just log on quickly, jump into a ship, and then log off and know I'm going to be there?
Yeah.
That would be the dream. And that would enable people to play so much more of the content and maybe remove the bits they don't enjoy, because maybe they just enjoy ground combat or what have you. They don't have to go from place to place. I like air combat, to be clear, as well,
Yeah.
but the Genesis Starliner.
I think maybe I would definitely like to see passenger missions. But I think from a pure utility perspective of that ship, the thing we almost need to see is that sort of persistence of like you log in where you logged out. That
Yes.
they've
Yeah.
talked about a lot. And you'd probably need some mechanism for get the hell off my ship.
Yeah.
Like when I land and store the ship, everybody on board it is just going to wake up at the station I've just landed at, rather than waking up in the Starliner in
On the return journey.
in the depths of the hangar, that sort of thing. Because from an org perspective, that would be huge. Like
Mm.
we had it a bit the other night, so we did our org v org on Saturday, which was in Pyro, and I was conscious that we also have like org raid night on Fridays, and so I knew a bunch of the people who came to the raid night were going to need to be in Pyro for the
Yeah.
next day. The raid night was in Stanton, and the org v org in Pyro. So I just operated like LoudGuns Air. It's kind of like Logan Air, best airline in the world, by the way. Scotland's #1 and also only airline. You tend to go up and then down on most journeys, and there's just enough time for them to get round with a trolley, and they just give you a cup of tea and the tonics. Perfect airline service.
That's included for free.
Just included in your ticket price. You get you get a choice. You get a choice. These lovely people go round and they go tea, coffee, and you choose between the two drinks, tea or coffee. And then they go caramel marshmallow, and you get to choose between either a Tonics caramel bar or a Tonics marshmallow. And that's it.
Incredible.
And because they limit it to those two decisions that everybody on the plane has to make, they serve everybody on that plane in like 10 minutes. Just like
Such a good idea.
bish bash bosh. So yeah, highly recommend Logan Air. But yeah,
Sponsored.
I operated. Oh yeah, we could get that as a
You
sponsor,
imagine?
or just Tunnux. Just saying, I will happily eat a caramel wafer every episode. Or I mean, literally, you could pay me in caramel wafers. So
That'd be incredible. Sorry.
but I
Yeah,
got
something
soundtrack.
about.
But like LoudGuns Air just like ran at the end of the event. Like guys, get on. If you're going to
Yeah.
Pyro for tomorrow, just hop on my Cutlass Black. I whizzed everybody across to Pyro. But if people could just get into the seat of a passenger ship, and then they could just log out, because by that time it was like 11 o'clock at night for most of us.
Yeah.
So people have things to do. Like so if you could just know, right, my org mates are going to get me there. I just need to log myself out in this chair. And then next time I log in to play this game, I will be where I need to be.
Yeah.
Or I will find out that our passenger ship got waylaid by pirates, and I'm waking up in Orison Hospital. But hopefully your org
Yeah,
mates
that's
would
on you.
warn you
Yeah.
that that had happened, like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
morning. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
It'd be a really great addition. My first answer was going to be Liberator because I think, as sort of as you touched on,
It's
for
the same,
the
yeah.
light fighters need to get places and there's not enough fuel. Right now, an Avenger Titan can't go from Checkmate to Everest Harbour without having to stop in Stanton Gateway. Nyx is, I want to say, 3 times larger again than Pyro. I could
Mhm.
be totally wrong on that. But if that distance has stayed the same, and that's true, you're going to be jumping from like Nyx 1 when it comes out to the jump gate, refueling, jumping through, maybe getting your home destination or refueling again, depending on how fuel consuming the jump gate is. That gets old quite quickly. So having one ship that can do it all for you with big fuel tanks is just a huge time save. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and can also be the one person doing it for the crew, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like the ability, because even in the current system, you can do it with ships like Idris's, of
yeah,
like just right, you guys come and get on the ship, then you just have you know 10-15 minutes to go and have a cup of tea, go and
yeah.
do other things around your house, go and do the laundry. That's always a good one. Get yourself in the good books, then come back, and all that time you've just been traveling. It's just really efficient.
It
So
works so well. Yeah,
and yeah, certainly for orgs, that sort of thing, and small groups who play together, and it provides a real reason for those ships, right? It's like
yeah,
so like the Idris is a great combat ship, but it's also just great from that utility perspective of getting people from A to B and doing stuff when you get there. So yeah. The Liberator, though, it falls, doesn't it, into that weird category of almost the forgotten children of
I
the concept lines.
I think it's very much nestled in there because a lot of people for very specific reasons will have pledged to that on day one. And I can't imagine when it comes out there'll be loads of people pledging for it because it's a very like you want to buy a ship which is basically it's just a landing craft, right? It's a giant sled that you want to slam down onto a planet and drop things off, or you want to move fighters from point A to point B, but you don't have a big enough group to use like a Kraken or an Idris or something along that size. So I can imagine from like a sales point of view, quite an unattractive ship to actually finish. It's a bit like the Nautilus, right? Sounds like a great idea and concept. You've got this mine laying ship, and then you remember how big space is, and you only get like 40 mines. So it's like
And you
the
just
people who
want to
probably wanted
go,
that already
how will
bought it.
mines work before I buy this
Yeah, yeah,
ship?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
exactly. So it's like that thing is so far gone down the line. It's in a buyback somewhere. Don't even worry. But the Liberator actually in concept is a really simple ship. There's nothing special about it. The craziest thing it has is a tractor beam, right? Like it's nothing. But
Most people that I talk to who talk about the Liberator are mostly industrialists.
which
And
checks out.
and
Yeah.
one of the things which like I find the craziest about the Liberator, drives me nuts. It's like a personal like grinds my gears perspective, is how that ship was sold in concept art. Because
Oh, so
all the
all combat
concept
photos.
art was like guns blazing. I was just like, this is not a frontline dropship.
No.
This like maybe maybe they missed the bit where like we did the org v org. How long do dropships last if you don't have air superiority?
I think
Not very
survey says
long.
8 seconds.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you've got some armor or something. Like if you're driving a barn door, like which
Yeah, that's
these
it.
things are
Yeah.
just a big slab of a cross section. I mean, just target practice for Centurions, basically. So this is more like I've always seen it more as the ferry of the SC
Yes.
world, and I get that that's maybe not glamorous enough to stick in concept art. So you have to stick the guns blazing and the tanks firing as they're on the ramp.
I
Like,
love that. I mean, have you seen the traction tanks get in this game? Driving on ice. These things are going to be like skidding off into no end.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
The dismount is going to be a case of like, oh, careful,
Yeah.
careful,
Easy, easy. Yeah.
easy.
And it's Anvil. That's why, isn't it? It's like it's
Yeah.
got Anvil, so it's got to be like right. It's combat. But you're dead right. It's like if you were doing a mining op and you don't own an Idris, the day when the Idris isn't a solo ship, then yeah, Liberator makes perfect sense. You can fit so many assets onto that one ship. So the problem is the idea of as selling it as a drop ship was a ground deployment ship was a great idea at points until the day the Ironclad got sold, and
Mm.
that thing can fit 5 Nova tanks in. So if you want to bring 10 Nova tanks, 12 Nova tanks, yeah, the Ironclad's still there. But exactly as you said, it's not going to be dropping on the battlefield. So you're going to be dropping on a staging area, and then you asking people to drive 50 clicks, or are you just shuttling them with a ship which could do all of it and have more protection?
Yeah.
So
But far
yeah,
far more people who I've talked to who've pledged for a lib have basically been like, I've got a prospector, I've got a vulture, like, and I'm gonna stick those two on the landing pads, and then I'm gonna keep the cargo hold for, I might stick my rock mining buggy in there. And then that is like my personal, maybe my group of like 3, 4 mates. That is us out on like an industrial mini op type
yeah,
thing, and we can go out and we can stay out for a long time and work off that platform and take it to various bases. And particularly when like we see crafting and you need to go round and get the various stuff from the industrial activities, then I think that's going to be a really strong sort of contender, particularly with those landing pads, because I can see them doing something with the Ironclad's dimensions to stop you putting things like vultures and prospectors inside.
really, okay,
Yeah, maybe golems like Drake and Drake,
yeah, yeah,
but like I can almost see them doing that literally as a like, oh ho ho, but this won't work. You need, the Liberator is the thing more for like ships,
yeah.
to carry ships. So yeah, meant to be seen on that one. But no, it's kind of a great choice because it's kind of the mini Kraken
It
in a
is, it
way.
is.
So yeah,
The day engineering comes out, that will be because the whole idea is like it's minimum crew. It's got one gun, if I remember correctly, and one pilot. That's all you need for it.
mm,
So you really could do, if you sold the gun, depending on what you're doing, a two-person crew, possibly even a one-person crew, just doing engineering and flying. I think two,
mm.
realistically. But it's it will be the answer a lot of people turn to, but it will not be an attractive thing to sell. So I really suspect we won't see the Liberator for a long, long, long time, unfortunately.
This is my one of reading far too much into things that were said at CitCon.
Here we
So
go.
so there was a comment when it came to Nyx that Nyx was going to be mining focused, and
Yeah.
it confused me quite a lot because he said it, and then everything they showed us was combat,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was just
But
like,
it will be mining
There
focused.
was that one kind of little segment on the mining with the rock cracker thing,
Oh yeah, yeah, at the very end.
but like that was like one little bit of mining, but then he literally said like Nyx is going to be really mining focused. And so I do wonder, like, they did a little bit of redistribution of materials in the last sort of big mining
I think
overhaul.
so.
Whether with crafting they're going to do another sort of big redistribution. So there really is like, to get all of the mineable materials, you will have to distinctly travel to Pyro, to Nyx, to Stanton. Um, and with that, there is quite a cool mining ship on the horizon in the form of the Arastra.
Yeah, yeah.
And because that came up when that picture that has since, I believe, been confirmed as the Perseus, when that came out, people were theory crafting what other RSI ships it could be, and one that was
Yeah.
touted was the Arastra. Now, obviously, that requires like the development of other systems, like refining and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. Part of me does wonder, sort of in that ballpark as well. Maybe the Expanse, if they were to get refining done.
The expanse, I agree. I think that's a big one where we don't know yet how good the Nix system will be for refineries. It would be really interesting, and also the distance from good mining pockets. So yeah, the expanse was, over the next 12 months, I would expect to see that ship. Honestly, like
Mhm.
with new systems, if you are going to do a mining redistribution, which I think you definitely should do, because this is your opportunity to force you to go play the new areas, even when there's not going to be loads of content there. That's very
Yeah.
easy to make player-driven content. Yeah, anything to do with ship, like the Odyssey as well. I think sort of Myst Odyssey has its own refinery built in. That's probably lower in the priority, but these sort of refinery-based ships, I think, will be seen quite soon.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure about the Odyssey, only because they seem to be getting a bit more concentrated in terms of like working through a certain manufacturer to make sure they get the
Yeah,
most out of
that's
like
true.
shared assets.
Yeah,
And while they have done like, you're dead right on like the whole B from Misk in terms of sort of the read across for other, your whole B is going in between two ships which you already have very firm design language on. I just wonder with the Odyssey, like I suppose though, I'm probably talking myself
the
out of
Star
this now
Lancer.
because we got the Star Lancer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's no. I've thought around it, and then I've realised actually how many Misk ships have snuck
I
out.
know. And they really do just sneak out. Like I think they're forgettable quite quickly, but
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are. That's probably not a good sign, is it? But like the Star Lancer is a ship which on week one everyone's like, this is it. This is what I'm going to be using, and then never really seen it again for
Wait,
whatever reasons.
I like mine. I have the
Hmm.
Wicklow one, and I
Okay, yeah,
do I do like it as like a, if you just got a few people, it's kind of like a big Connie.
yeah.
Um, Weirdly though, the cargo bays on it are not that usable. And it suffers, a lot of these things suffer, and a lot of cargo stuff suffers from the fact of like, persuade me not to use a C2.
That's the big one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get more cargo, and it's one person still.
yeah.
So
And
why
it's
would
and
I
it's a big
downsize?
box, so I've got versatility.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if I half fill it. If I half fill it, it means I've just got more space to easily navigate around my cargo. Whereas
yeah.
that's kind of one of the problems with the Star Lancer. Getting the cargo into it is a bit of a pain.
Great.
So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, combat point of view, the dual size fives don't really point forward very well. So you just can't get your guns on target. At which point you go bring three connies instead of one tack. It
yeah,
just sort of falls away really quickly. So this one, a lot of ship releases always come down to just resource allocation of the most finite resource, which is human time. So yeah,
yeah.
of course you're just going to go for what can I solo end of the day really. So yeah,
Speaking of though, I think like one thing which I would definitely expect to see, because we see it every time, is, and I've actually come to hate the term, an LTI token. We'll probably see something
yeah,
because it's a sale, which is on the very. We've talked about all the very big, but what about the very small? Because there's
yeah.
almost always like some sort of small ground vehicle that basically just fills that. Like, would you like LTI for $35
Yeah,
or
yeah.
less type thing? So I haven't really got any idea what that is going to be. Like, because we
Yeah.
seem so well served for hover bikes, I can't imagine that anybody is
We cannot get any
craving
more.
another hover bike.
No. What about the Ranger? That's one I like. That's what I've been hoping to see for so long.
So
But
the Ranger is every video I make about like ships. There's one guy, I won't name and shame because I don't mean to shame. I think it is a perfect comment. His comment is always just like, still sat waiting for my Ranger. It's just like, I've got hope for the Ranger because they did sort of hint with the like rock redistribution about ground vehicles being better.
yeah, yeah,
And I think maybe Cyclone performance on four wheels has been what has put them off making anything which has two.
yeah.
Um, The downside to the Ranger, though, is it doesn't fill the LTI token
Oh god, 'cause
requirement
it's already been sold,
because
of
it's
course.
already
Yeah.
been concepted. So, I mean,
Yeah.
could they really stick it to everybody who has a Ranger and release just a different motorbike?
That'd be could you imagine? Just like we call it the Stranger from
Frustrating.
Drake, and it's yeah, yeah. It's just like
I feel like Ranger releases might have been. Have you noticed that Star Citizen has a bit of a thing for following films? You know,
yeah, yeah.
here's our giant sandworms, like coinciding with the release of new June stuff. I feel if Tron Ares or whatever it was, I feel if that had performed better at the cinema, we would have
Yeah,
had a non-zero chance of the Rangers making it
yeah.
out for this year's
We'd all
IAE
be in
all of a
one.
sudden. But since it seems to have been a bit of a flop, I'm not holding out hope on the Rangers. I did wonder, because it was
Hmm.
floated a little while ago, that they said obviously that they would never sell the Atlas ICD. But
Okay.
then somebody else pointed out that the ICD that you get from Wicklow is kind of a variant. It's its own
Yes.
variant thing.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, given how much people love mech suits because they are so much fun,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
some form of other mech suit, like maybe it is literally the Atlas XD, just a different variant, so therefore it ticks the "we'll never sell this" box,
Yeah.
or whether it'll be just a different mech from a different manufacturer. Because it would make sense for like a more pew pew mech to come from a military manufacturer like Anvil,
Yeah.
like Aegis. So
And they've sort of had the testing, haven't they, to see what's the impact in game. Are they OP? Are they not? You sort of, they're not. They're sort of fine to deal with. So, yeah, I'd agree. I think that is a possibility. It'd be a nice one to see. Like, back in the day, Titan suits, the original concept art for those is incredible.
yeah,
So if we were to get something on that line, the Titan suit P for Peacekeeper version, like, oh great, okay, and then just sell with the gun separately, and then yeah, it's.
wait,
I think they.
are you talking about gun packs for
Who would do that? Who
who
would
would
do
do
that?
that?
Like Beatrice is so cheap until you have to spend 350 to
Yeah.
make it usable.
Here's your
Yeah,
$30 mech, and here's your $300 M railgun package.
yeah, yeah. Put a size 10 railgun on it. It's fine.
Shoots down Idris's. But it would be really cool actually to have a mech which had customizable weaponry.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
like that is one thing I like. I like the XD, but I don't particularly like its guns
yeah.
that it comes with. I would love ballistic Gatling guns on that thing because I just want to go Burt.
Yeah, I think one shoulder mounted gun would also be just a
Mm-hmm.
really cool design idea. Sort of that's probably more for my Warhammer playing Leagues of Votan. Their Terminators have like a grenade launcher strapped to their
Yeah.
arm, and it's just like, yeah, I could get behind that. I think that'd be great. What I'd love to see is ground to ground, sort of like just I want to see artillery. Effectively.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll ever get artillery, or at least not for a long, long, long time, just due to how much of a nightmare they would be to deal with. But one day, if we could get you've got the binoculars. Now we just need a like a laser pointer to say pin there, send it to a computer, and then you send your shots off. But that's very, very wishful.
Did you just make the prediction of the century though, Ben? The binoculars were actually just the precursor for artillery.
That's it. You heard it here first. Theatres of
Uh,
War is coming.
It's war is going. There's a all I can say is having been on the front lines of the ground pounders in the org v org and felt what it's like to come out from a dropship into a literal war zone. I don't think I want like airburst artillery thrown into that
No.
mix. I mean, I already got killed by everything possible on that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's like when CIG showed off cluster bombs, and I was like, this looks really cool. And then you think of the implication of what that would be, and any event would just be like, oh no, you can't touch the ground at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Every like trying to make like at one point we trekked across a mountain. Like,
mhm,
because we landed the wrong side of a mountain, so then we trekked all the
yeah.
way across a mountain. And then there were all these fighters like circling round, and we were desperately trying to scrabble between rocks. And then those fighters saw us, and then I got reminded that every fighter in the game is now a bomber.
hmm
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, fish in a barrel comes to mind. Yeah, it was not
There
a
was
good day
definitely
to
a
be
few moments of
frontline
that.
infantry.
No, no, this is very much an Imperial Guard strategy of just keep sending things. I'm sure some of it will get through.
It
It
was
didn't.
more Zap Brannigan, I'll be honest. uh, I
Just-
will abandon ship first on your
yeah,
behalf.
yeah, yeah. You were like, it was funny going down because you could hear the shots coming in. And you'd think, what's the optimal moment to leave? Is it before we get to the ground, or do I hope my legs like won't? I think my legs will break on the jump, so I'll stay with it. And turns out you wouldn't get anywhere near the ground either way, so didn't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did fall out of a ship at one point at a
nice.
horrendous distance. I sort of just hopefully like held my med gun to my arm. Like, if I time this and the server desyncs, no, splat.
No, yeah.
So,
Oh
oh, it was really good
God,
fun though.
yeah. And what we've learned from all of this is you need ships to get to the ground. So pledge now. No, no,
Yeah,
I'm kidding. But yeah. Let's see what
Starshipperism.
strategy brings.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think this really is the first IE I've at least gone into knowing so little.
Mhm.
Usually, most you know the headline always, and then you've probably got a rough idea of what the medium ships are. But this year, not a clue.
Yeah.
So let's hope it stays that way, and we get 2 weeks of being blown away by cool announcements. Really,
No, absolutely. Just YouTube hiatus 1 week
yeah,
before is the way to go. The moment they release a PTU, delete
that's
YouTube
it.
from your phone until the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Right. Well, should we, having prattled on, hopefully for people who like us were a little bit disappointed in the ship panel. Hopefully, us prattling on for a full hour and however long will have helped to soothe that and will carry you through till the real ship team turn up to deliver what's actually coming. And hopefully provide a load more answers. Like I would definitely stay tuned for things like ISC and Star Citizen Live. They're always really good around this time of year, and
Yeah,
we'll
they
get
are.
it from the horse's mouth. So, but Ben, where can people find you elsewhere on the internet?
So I made a video, and I'm making a second video. YouTube at YouTube slash MasterBen10. It's on screen or in the links below somewhere. And I'm finally back to making content, which is really good fun. So yeah,
Excellent.
that's
I
where we're
have
at.
personally been enjoying it. So,
Nice, nice.
and yeah,
Loud. How about yourself?
just at LoudGuns on YouTube. That is where I stay. I'm staying in my lane. So
Yeah, yeah.
gradually churning out guide content. So yeah, and if
Nice.
you've got any new people who are getting in, this is a good time for new players getting in. Then I'm going to shamelessly self promote my new player guide because it always takes ages, and I think it's pretty good. Right, but on that note, should we draw it to a close? And as ever, let us know what you think down in the comments. We can all
Yeah.
laugh about how wrong we were when this stuff actually comes out. So we'd love to hear your predictions. It's a hard word to say at the end of an hour and 15 minutes,
Right to your predictions.
and
Yeah, yeah. It's an intriguing one, isn't it?
doesn't
I
roll
can't
off the
wait to see
tongue.
the Pioneer. No,
Oh yeah,
no, you don't. We're going to be on our Pioneer and our
Pioneer
Genesis
at
Starliner.
IAE with full base
Yeah,
building, or I'm done.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
They just didn't
this will
quite
be the
have it
last.
ready for CitCon. That's why they didn't bother
No,
promoting it at the main event.
even mentioning it. I
Yeah,
think the opening to IE will be a CitizenCon trailer with a release date and a $500 pre-order deluxe edition.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And on that bombshell, we'll catch you in episode 13, or maybe we'll do like a NASA thing and not launch an episode 13. Maybe we'll just go straight to
Yeah,
14.
yeah.
Righto. Catch you later.
See you later, guys.